Yes.
You've talked a little bit about ordinances, but can you talk about the specific steps from an idea, how citizens can be more directly involved in that process?
Good question. We have a lot of codes and ordinances, so if something comes up that a citizen may be concerned about, and they may say, this code is in place, but it's affecting me unfairly. Just this week I had a wrecker service come to me, and they said a wrecker code was passed some time ago that said that the city will only call wrecker services that have this $150,000 piece of equipment. And we couldn't afford to buy it, so we're not on the city rotation and get called when there's an accident. But we would like to be, and that piece of equipment that's specified in your ordinance is never used. And we feel at the time it was put in there to keep some of us from being on the rotation call. And will you all look at that again? It's already a law, but we've had someone have a concern about unfairness in how it works. So we can, because that's been raised, we'll take it up in a committee. And we'll let that person and other wreckers that may be affected by the same law come in and discuss it if they don't think it's fair. And if they can, through that discussion, convince us that, hey, we need to relook at this, then we can amend that one. It may be something that's not law, but we need a law about it. Trying to think of an example of something that's come up that we've decided, yeah, we need something that creates a law about it. But citizens may bring us particular concerns and say, this is really bothersome for us, but the police can't do anything about it when I call them, or the judge throws it out when we go to court because there's not a law. There's not a law that backs the police officer up to do something about it. And if we get cited to court, the judge says, I can't do anything to them because there's no law that tells me I can. So when we have a concern come up like that, again, we'll take it through, that would go through legal and legislation. And we would have a discussion on it. That, hey, we need a law that does this. Oh, I know one that came up about a year ago about horses. How much property do you have to have a horse? Because we had a place that used to be a farm, that hadn't been a farm in years, all of a sudden started leasing their property out for people to put horses on, and it backed right up to a really fancy, swanky, high-priced subdivision. And they were smelling manure and having flies and all kinds of stuff. Well, they wanted an ordinance that stopped those horses from being that close to their property, and they said there's too many horses for the amount of property and space that they have. So they wanted a law. They wanted us to do something about it. And enact a law about livestock. That's a good example. So,
Chickens.
What was the
chickens was, oh yeah, thank you. Oh, chickens was another, and that never came for discussion.
Nope.
Never came to full discussion.
It'll come around again. But so like the idea would be that you would speak to your city council representative and ask them to speak to the committee, to introduce it in the committee.
See if you can get it on committee.
And then from there, they would hopefully follow its track
Yeah,
and do
if
it.
it sounds like, hey, this makes sense, then we'll ask our city attorney to write the resolution or the ordinance. And they'll write, and they'll think it from a legal perspective. Okay, what can we say about this? What is legal that we can control, and what is not legal that we can't say about this? And they'll get the resolution, and then we'll vote on it. So, yes, you can bring something up that you say, hey, I want this to happen, or this is already in the code, but that thing's antiquated. It shouldn't be in there, and it's keeping me from doing what I need to do with my business, and we'll discuss it.